Our next guest is no stranger to the dust and the danger of the ring. Bob Kahla is a fourth-generation cowboy who tried to give the range the boot only to be lured back to the pasture. This Chambers County legend dropped by the rodeo arena this afternoon to share a few tales about the days of the saltgrass cowboy. How you doing out there, Bob?
Oh, just fine, just fine.
What does it take in this day and age to be a good cowboy?
Well, I'll tell you what it takes to be a cowboy. What it takes to be a cowboy ain't a pair of faded jeans or dusty hat or western boots all busted at the seams. It ain't his looks or what he wears. It's in his heart and mind. His manners, they're gracious, and his ways are mostly kind. His smile is quick, his voice soft. He's got a gentle way with children and with animals. He meets along life's way. He tips his hat or gives a nod to ladies that he meets. An outstretched hand he offers to each gentleman he greets. He's firm in his convictions. He's quick to lend a hand. With justice and with righteousness, he always takes a stand. For those about in need of help, his hand is never slow. He never boasts, he never brags, he never makes a show. To think of life without him would make me very sad. The reason is because, you see, this cowboy's my dad.
So you learned about being a good cowboy, Bob, through your father, who set a fine example for you, and you're setting that same example for all the children you encounter in Chambers County and Beaumont when you go around into the classrooms telling the tales of the cowboy. And I also know that you are paying close attention to what's happening in the political arena, and you've even written a poem about this presidential race. Will you share it with us?
Why, sure. Bush or Clinton, Clinton-Bush. From shove to push, mud is flying high and low. How much lower can they go? Campaign promises were fed. Look out, incoming overhead. At times it makes us want to laugh, but we must sift the wheat from chaff. Everywhere the lies abound are half-truths with a catchy sound. If we believe the things we hear, then we sure have a lot to fear. Bush says Clinton's liberal ways will lead us all to gloomy days. With Hillary at the captain's wheel, his voice and power she will steal. And Clinton says with calm resolve that Bush will not have problem solved. Just look upon his record low jobs go. I think we should just find a sack big enough to both the pack and swing it round and round again. The first one out, then he won. The first one out can be the one, and he can then our country run. But Quail and Gore will have to wait for time and tide or maybe fate. If the swan song of the prez they hear, then they can get their rear in gear, and one of them can be the one, and he can then our country run. But there's no room for Ross Perot. Now in a little sack I know, for now it's full of bull and beans, and even though he's got the means to steal the race and run away, his indecision spoils the day. For stamped upon his foot in bold is insert foot and swallow whole.
Oh boy, oh boy. Well, Bob, we've had a good chance to visit with you, and I want to just mention that you have written a book called Poems and Stories of a Saltgrass Cowboy. That's available with a lot of other samplings from your repertoire. Thanks for being with us. We're going to visit with you again next week.
Thank you, Sally.
Thanks a lot.